Good evening, everybody. Tonight, a public official has emerged with the principle and guts to tell radical Islamist terrorists exactly how he feels about them. The man is the Moroccan-born mayor of Rotterdam, who happens to be Muslim. His name is Ahmed Aboutaleb, and he issued this profane directive to the radical Islamist terrorists who carried out the attacks, killing 17 people in France last week, and these same words to all who support them.
Dat je zo tegen die vrijheid je kunt keren. Maar als je die vrijheid niet ziet, in hemelsnaam, pak je koffer en vertrek. Ja, en als je het hier niet ziet zitten, omdat je humoristen niet ziet zitten die een krantje maken, ja, mag ik het zo zeggen?
Also tonight, a defiant Charlie Hebdo magazine placing a cartoon of the Prophet Muhammad on this week's cover. As you see there on your screen, Muhammad is portrayed as crying, holding a sign that reads, "I am Charlie," with the words, "All is forgiven," printed above his head, words that the surviving members of Charlie Hebdo say are open to interpretation. Turning to President Obama, who was absent from the Paris rally over the weekend and remains absent when it comes to identifying the threat that is radical Islamist terrorism. And more appalling is the damage control campaign being spun by left-wing media outlets, including Politico, the website operating as a democratic political organ, pinning the blame on President's absence in Paris and the entire mishandling over the weekend on his counselors and confidants and staff. The hardly ever accountable president himself finding himself on the wrong side of history once again, a place from which he seems to rarely stray these days. President Obama's spokesman failing for a second day in a row to give a detailed report on what exactly the president was doing Sunday instead of attending the unity rally with global leaders in Paris, 44 of them. President Obama was able to find time today to meet with the leadership of both houses of Congress. Fox News Chief White House correspondent Ed Henry has our report.
In their first face-to-face since Republicans took over Congress, President Obama again pledged to work with the GOP.
I'm very much looking forward to not just this discussion, but some real collaboration.
Though a few minutes later, Press Secretary Josh Earnest left the door open to going around Congress again. When asked if he's willing to admit the president cannot shut down the U.S. military prison at Guantanamo by executive action.
Well, I'm not willing to jump that far ahead. The president may be able to prevail upon enough members of Congress to work with him to achieve, again, a goal that is shared by Democrats and Republicans.
Except the new Republican chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, Richard Burr, wants the opposite. Today, pushing legislation to halt all transfers of terrorists out of Gitmo, since most remaining detainees came from Yemen. And the Kawachi brothers, who led the terror attacks in Paris, had direct ties to al-Qaeda in Yemen.
We realize that anybody that might be at Guantanamo or anywhere in the world that has knowledge and texture of Yemen in 2011 is a legitimate source for us to go to and to run the names of the brothers and to see if there was talk of an operation.
The fallout also continued over the White House's failure to send the president or another high official to Sunday's massive Paris rally against terror. And the criticism was coming from the president's usual allies.
Couldn't Obama have at least sent a friend?
Although former President Jimmy Carter tried to support Mr. Obama in a Yahoo News interview with a line of defense the White House probably did not need.
I know that President Obama's just come back from vacation. I know how it is when you've been gone for a week or two. Your desk is piled up, and he had other pressing problems to address.
Politico reported White House officials are counting on Monday's admission of a mistake to lead reporters to get bored and move on, as aides again refused to discuss what the president was doing instead on Sunday.
Did you get a chance to have a conversation with the president?
Well, there were conversations here at the White House about that, but I don't have anything to share about that.
Is the president upset that this decision that involved all these other world leaders, that it just never reached his desk? Has he expressed any anger about that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Joe Lieberman, the former Democratic vice presidential nominee, today blasted the administration's refusal to blame the Paris attacks on radical Islam.
Sure, there's forms of extremism that threaten us, but the one we're at war with is violent Islamist extremism. That's the force that attacked America on 9/11.
The president's spokesman, Josh Earnest, though, today said the White House does not believe it's accurate to blame the attacks in Paris on radical Islam. He said that the terrorists involved tried to justify their actions by invoking the religion, and the White House is not going to give them more attention on that, Lou.
Ed, thank you very much. Ed Henry reporting from the White House. Thank you.